Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and in today's video, we are going to be covering the new update patch notes for 1.0.31, titled Golden Autumn. I'm pretty excited, because there was not any indication on when the patch notes were going to be released, but we figured that it probably could be around mid-October, I think, just on average, so this is nice that we got the release here. We can also see that this is happening a little bit quicker, right? We usually get about a 1-week window between patch note release and then the update going live. Here we have 4 days, right? It's the 14th of October that we're recording this on. It's saying that it's going to be releasing on the 18th. So let's go ahead and get right into it. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us up because it helps out a lot. Here we go. So number 1, new Royal Celebrations event series. The embers of the old age are dying and a new era is about to be born. The dragon bows at the feet of the exalted High King. If a flame dragon lair is occupied by an alliance at the end of Season 1, this will begin the Royal Celebrations event series. Oh, cool. So they're actually giving you kind of timed events, if you will, that they're almost allowing for you to control if you want to kind of spawn them early or maybe later, if you want to maybe do some prep for them, depending on like what's really entailed. This is actually kind of cool. I like this approach. Royal Proclamation. The High King can issue a Royal Proclamation celebrating this momentous occasion with all lords in the realm. Okay, cool. So it's activated, is kind of how it sounds. Kingdom Celebrations. Members of the alliance that occupies the Flame Dragon lair can purchase the Kingdom Celebrations bundle and share gift boxes containing awesome rewards with their fellow alliance members. Time of celebration. Celebration chests will appear on the map every 8 hours during the event and can be opened by all players. Okay, so not just alliance players. Okay, so this is cool. So they're kind of, it sounds like they're giving you 2 types or tiers of rewards. They're giving one for the players that are in the alliance that capture the dragon, and then they're also allowing all players in the kingdom to still reap some rewards. This, I think, is an okay way of doing it. I can understand that they want people to feel like getting the Flame Dragon has some value, and I do also like the fact that they're not just limiting it to players in the alliance who capture the Flame Dragon, or worse, only the players that showed up to capture the Flame Dragon. So I really like that approach that they made it for everyone in the alliance. Okay, this is cool. Now, obviously, this is probably just going to be a one-time thing, right? It's not going to be recurring unless they're able to reactivate it multiple times. Number 2. Roots of War rework. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is the moment, fam. I hope that they include some of the things that I and others, many others, have suggested. Okay, let's just collect thyself. Here we go. The Roots of War map has been redesigned. Okay, now, this is my thing with the Roots of War map. I potentially would almost like to see them do different versions of the Roots of War map. I can understand if it's kind of taking this League of Legends Dota approach, and I'm sure other games as well that have kind of a standard map that you just play on all the time. But it would be cool to see other maps as well, similarly to how they do different maps for different seasons in the game. I think that is another opportunity for ROW. Now, do I think that it may necessarily be absolutely needed right now prior to seeing other improvements before that? Not necessarily, but it is something that I think people would like eventually. Okay. But the map has been redesigned. Changes have made. Now, if they want to like rework the map a little bit like per season, that could be interesting, but it would probably have to be more like timed, like maybe every 6 months or so. Anyways, I digress. Changes have been made to terrain, save zone exits, and the locations of halls and outposts. The Seal of Thrones has also been removed. Okay. There is now only 1 life stone on the battlefield at any given time. It will respawn at the center of the battlefield. Okay, so we're kind of doing like this Halo-centered power-up spawn point. Some gameplay, well, if it was centered is my point. Some gameplay features have been improved. You can now see building details and save zones for both teams. Okay, nice, some more information on the interface. The march speed of rallied armies has been adjusted, as has the speed of routed legions returning to their base camp. You can now apply more markers. Okay, that seems like a plus. The effects of occupying an outpost have also changed. Okay. Added a new battlefield guide. Zoom out and tap the counselor, shaman, sage avatar in the bottom right to obtain more detailed information about the battlefield. Okay, cool. I'm always a big fan for like kind of more macro views and things that are more zoomed out where you can really see everything and get a bit more information on what is available for the mode or particulars on what's happening on the field. So that I think is nice. Added teams for registration. An alliance can configure up to 3 teams to take part in different Roots of War matches, allowing more alliance members to take part. Okay, this is cool. So this almost makes it seem like maybe you can have like 3 different types of teams, or maybe you have like your primary, your backup to the backup team. Will this allow for you to maybe pull in substitutes from the second team or second string, if you will? Or no, it's just going to kind of be the same way that it operates currently. This, I think, could have some positive impacts. I'd love to hear what, for those of you that are consistently participating in RoW and you really like RoW, what do you think about this one? Okay, next one we have is extended the registration period. Alliance officers now have more time to manage participants. Okay. You know what would have been cool is if they would have added in something, a note here saying, even at the top, like, these have been the most requested community feedback pieces or suggestions, because I think that would add a little bit more kind of cachet, if you will, if I'm using that word correctly, to the fact that the things that are being added here were community suggestions, right? And things that people have really wanted for. And almost like them having this opportunity to say, we're listening to you and we hear you, right? Like, you are not going unnoticed and unheard. Added a voting function to the registration period. Alliance officers can use it to better schedule activities. Okay, cool. The team roster will not be locked after registration until the registration cutoff time. Players can cancel the registration and change team or alliance at any time. Okay. It says these features are still in the testing phase and will be rolled out to a limited number of servers. See in-game details for when features will become available. Okay. So, in conclusion, a couple things that I think they're missing out on. And again, maybe they have plans for the future, but these things, I can't almost put enough emphasis on this, on how important adding some of these things in are, right? Number one, and I can't recall if they have mentioned this before or not, but I'm just going to state it generally. There needs to be some kind of like custom lobby, some kind of like training lobby where you can go in. And like I said, I think they may have mentioned something like this in a dev Q&A before. But again, as I said, number one, needs to have some kind of customer private lobby where you can go in and play against no one to test out openings, to test out transitions, etc. Number two, or continuing on one, you need to be able to test against like the AI. So you can go against like AI teams or ghost teams, if you will. And then the third part to number one is that you need to be able to set up scrimmages and practice matches with alliances whenever RoW is not going on, right? So think about being able to still play RoW on those in-between weekends where you can schedule those matchups. I think that would be a great way where you allow the teams to get some practice in without having to do RoW every single week, right? Where it counts. I think that's a great kind of in-between middle ground point that they could do. Number two, there needs to be a way where players not in those alliances can watch matches, right? So if they do some kind of game highlight system, if they do like featured matches, even if they only did a couple, right? You don't have to start off with allowing us to view 20 matches a weekend, even if it's a match a day or a match for each time window a day, right? And so that would be great to be able to do. Number three, being able to potentially watch VODs, right? So after the matches are finished, being able to maybe go back in and kind of watch some, doesn't have to be a lot, right? But maybe archiving some of these so that way, again, and then when you're observing them, it would be awesome if maybe after a period of time you had like observation tools to where, you know, you could remove fog of war. Obviously, there would be a delay if you could watch matches in live time. We've talked about that before. But if you're watching a match after it has concluded, it would be nice if when you go and watch the match after it's done as a VOD, you can have tools that can almost be like caster tools, if you will, where you can remove fog on one side or the other. You can remove fog altogether. You can rewind, fast forward, things like that, to where people like myself as content creators and or others can go in and we can cast matches, we can put out more videos on them, we can do highlights for them. You could have other alliances that can go and study other alliances, right, to try and improve themselves, which really just kind of helps the overall competitive scene. Some people may be iffy on that, but again, I'm looking at kind of more of an overall net positive. So those are just a couple things. I'd love to hear what else you guys think ROW can continue to add? Let me know in the comments. Let's go to number 3. Golden Autumn Holiday Event. So this is probably just another standard holiday event. We're all pretty much familiar with these at this point. Typically goes for 7 days. We can see here we have Harvest, Festival of Fortitude, Chance Encounters, Veil Society Quiz, right? Caravan Escort, right? These are all pretty standard. So that's going to be coming. Great. I'm going to kind of zoom past that one if everyone understands, because this is going to be pretty long based on the bar that I'm seeing. Number 4, seasonal game. I mean, this is a massive update, it looks like. Seasonal gameplay improvements. Improve the Season 2 map. Players entering Season 2 will be able to enjoy an all-new map of Beleren once the update is complete. This will not affect players currently in Season 2. Dope! So we can take a look at the new map for maybe people that have not loaded into it yet, so we'll take a look for that. Improved Ancestor statue gameplay for Season 2 and beyond. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Let's see if anything is going to happen here. Once an Ancestor statue has been occupied, its occupation status will not be affected if members of other alliances or Dwarven Guardians enter its challenge range. If all Alliance members' legions die or leave the challenge range, the Alliance will lose control of the Ancestor statue, and it will be open to contest again. Ooh, interesting. So basically, if you're first in there and you keep filling it constantly, then you just have it forever, right? Like there's no contest period. And I think this potentially brings up a valid counter to this, which is that what happens if you have 2 very active teams that, again, are willing to kind of go all out for that, whatever, the 60-minute period, if that's right, and one team just gets in there first, and they maintain it throughout the entire period, and then, you know, even if the other team is still going toe-to-toe with them, right, they don't really have this opportunity unless they kill everyone. This almost makes me wonder if maybe they should change this from a kind of domination, King of the Hill style, to maybe like a team deathmatch style. Again, there are other things that you can do in here, right? I was actually hoping for a little bit more than this on the Ancestor statue. I mean, this is, I guess, okay-ish of a change. I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about, like, if I'm like so overwhelmingly happy with it. It feels like it's a very small adjustment. I was really hoping to see and hear more about Ancestor statues and then being able to really do more with this space. So this, to me, overall is kind of a letdown, that there's at least not an acknowledgement of, hey, yeah, we're hearing you. We would love to maybe do things differently in the space. Or maybe, for example, add in 3 different points or add in 2 more points. So you have 3 points total on Ancestor statues. 1 on your side, their side, and in the middle. I mean, again, it just feels like this space can have so much more utilized and done with it, and we're going to keep advocating for it as well. I'd love to know what you guys think about this change. Are you for it? You're not for it on statues? Number 3, changed cooldown for territorial relocation in Season 1, making relocation more convenient for players after joining a new alliance. The cooldown period begins after you join a new alliance and initiate territorial relocation. Previously, the cooldown, I always like when they do that. They give you the previous, right? They've started doing that a lot more often as well. Previously, the cooldown would begin as soon as you joined an alliance. During the cooldown period, you can only relocate to areas within your alliance's territories. Okay. And initiate. Oh, I see. This actually seems like it's a little bit of a nerf, because it says the cooldown would begin as soon as you joined. This is saying that the cooldown will not start. So basically, if you want the cooldown to start, you have to initiate your territory relocation the moment that you join the alliance, even if you don't end up going to that spot. Or does it lock you into that spot and then the cooldown starts? I don't know. That seems like a little bit of a nerf to me. Reworked the Resurgence feature. Once the Season 1 stage Unscarred ends, the Resurgence feature will no longer be available. Okay, I see. So you have it, I guess, up until then. Okay. Reworked migration. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. This, here we go. Number 5. Realms in Season 2 and beyond who have not appointed a High King will have no power limit, and their migration permit cost will be reduced by 20%. Ooh! I need to make sure I understand this. So, any realm in Season 2 and beyond, if they have not appointed a High King, will have no power limit, and there. So that means the players in those kingdoms will have no power limit. Oh, that's rough. So that means anyone can go in Wow, so they're raising that, because before it wasn't that, right? If you didn't appoint a high king, you could only, I believe, bring people in that were below that bare minimum. So if you went to like the migration rules page, it was whatever it is. It's like 3, 5, 7, 9, 15, something like that, right? As it goes from season to season. And your migration permit cost. So you're getting a permit cost reduction by 20% to help you move out. Okay. I mean, to be honest, this is interesting, because what it's basically saying now is, so there's two massive implications here. Number one, if you recall like an alliance such as TFS, who moved out of 23 to go to 40, and there's other examples as well, but this is one of the more recent ones that I can recall, I should say, is that now this is going to give, remember when we did that video on the kingdoms that were the best to go and rebuild? This is basically what is happening now. So because there's no power limit being done on kingdoms that don't have a high king, it is now going to create more kingdoms that can basically be rebuilt in that way, where you can take your tailor-made or fine-tuned group of warriors or whoever you want, your selected peeps, and go to a kingdom to basically rebuild it, capture the high king, and then you can go ahead and impact. However, the challenge with something like this is that, one, you need to be pretty organized. I mean, you don't necessarily need to have even alliance shells set up. You can still just go in, make your own alliance, and then go ahead and just start working towards the dragon. The challenging part is, because they have no limit, anyone can come in, right? So even if you're trying to identify a kingdom that you want to basically, like if you're trying to remove a lot of dead weight and you're just having difficulty doing that, at least for those kingdoms and alliances that have that approach, then this is basically a saving grace for you. But you almost have to be able to take advantage of it sooner than later. Because of the no power limit, you could have anyone go in, right? So you could have a bunch of single players or very small duos or small groups that go in and can also impact what the activity status can be, or just having other people that are in there. In addition, maybe you're going to have some like big players that just go into some of these kingdoms because, you know, maybe they'll be able to win some events and just kind of not have to worry about anything else. I mean, who knows? The next one, migration quotas for all realms have been reduced from 300 to 150. Ooh, that's rough. I don't know how I feel about that. That seems like a big nerf to me, and I don't understand why you would reduce the overall number when the whole point of the quota system, by you allowing up, because really it's more of an up to 300, right? So if you're crowded and you bring in 100 people, you have the opportunity to go from crowded to full, and then it just zeroes out. Now, I would love if it still stayed at 200 over 300, if you could bring 100 people in and then it went to full, just so it shows you where it ended at. And I would love to see that. You could also have 200 people come in and you go from active to full, right, depending on the power. So I don't know, like this, to an extent, this feels like it is being a little limit. Like, I could understand them doing this if you are going to be implementing features and systems in place that can make Season 1 home kingdoms more nurtured, right? Where they're going to be able to sustain and maintain more overall activity, where you're not seeing a lot of drop-off, you're not seeing a lot of players that are just, again, not playing anymore, uninstalling or slowing down their activity, right? So I think that's really important, is that if you're not going to add in things that are going to help the game out from the beginning stages by keeping activity as high as possible and keeping retention rates as low as possible, then reducing the quota, just, I don't know if it really feels like the best thing to do. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Number 6, changed certain behemoth occupation buffs in home realms. Stamina-related buffs will now apply to both heroes and war pets. Okay. That seems like a nice buff, possibly. Necrogiant stamina recovery speed. Previously, hero stamina recovery speed. So it's a flat stamina, okay, instead of hero, okay. And the same thing here, stamina limit. Previously, hero stamina limit. So basically just improving it by making it universal. Okay. Number 5, a smoother route to prosperity. This is a long one. New epic artifact, Lord's Guard Bow is Marksman Peacekeeping Assault. Available from the Artifact Compendium. Okay. After the update, when starting a new game as the Spring Wardens, Guano will receive the Longbow artifact during the tutorial rather than Bomb Flinger. Okay. So just kind of added something new in for that race. New pet Shadow Manticore now available. Ooh, new war pet Blade Manticore now available for players in Season Strife. New playstyle feature. You can now see a radar chart of your playstyle during the season. Ooh! Measuring 6 attributes: merits, engineering, healing, behemoths, gathering, and peacekeeping. When the feature becomes available, you will only be able to see your playstyle for the current season. Past seasons will become visible as you progress. Oh, cool. Okay. I mean, I guess it's kind of rough that you're not allowing the Alliance to see those stats. That would be nice as well. But I can understand if maybe you're just rolling it out as this in the beginning. But if this ends up being something that could be used as a gauge for activity or any kind of point evaluations, this may be something that Alliance leaderships will ask for screenshots for players. In addition, I wonder if this could also be something that could serve as kind of a pseudo migration resume card, where you may have kings and queens that will ask for screenshots of these from your past season or past couple seasons as references or material before accepting players, and this might just end up kind of becoming a standard. We'll see. It just depends on how it looks and what it shows. Number 6, improved Elixir. Your base Elixir capacity limit is now equivalent to 8 hours of Elixir production, previously 6. Your Elixir capacity limit can be increased by enacting relevant policies. Okay, so your base Elixir capacity. Okay, this seems like it could be a nice improvement, even if it's small, with Elixir basically being free healing. I'd love to know what some of you think on this one. Improved skill retraining. You can now choose whether or not to keep the results of retraining. Okay. Improved building upgrades. You can now upgrade a building while you are using it to train legions or research tech. Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh. I can tell you, I've seen this in other kingdom builders where they allow for you to upgrade while you're still building or training. And then for my time in Iraq, that just was like never, I don't know if they've updated that yet, but I remember when I was playing, that wasn't the case. So I actually think this is a great addition. Number 9, improved, because it will help people get to 25 that much faster. Even if it's not like an amazing jump, it still helps a bit. Improved quality of Elixir items while refreshing the merit store. Okay. Changed source of artifact Deathless Vines. You can now obtain it from the artifact compendium using universal artifact keys. Okay. Again, I'd like to see more things there. We've talked about this before, and I'm going to keep saying it. In my view, I really believe that one thing that would be such an amazing improvement for the game is if they made it so every single epic hero, every single epic artifact made it into either a gold chest or the compendium, where you can use your universal gold keys or your universal artifact keys to basically pull them, right? It doesn't mean that you're going to pull every single one on day one. It's still going to take a very long time, especially for the free-to-play. But the fact is that you're making everything in the game accessible, and nothing is hard paywall gated. Even if you start something out as being paywall gated for however long, if it's a month, 2, 3 months, right? I think somewhere kind of within that range is appropriate. But then after that time elapses, those items are added, not removed from you being able to spend on them. You can still do that, but they're added to areas that free-to-play can access. Number 6, an even richer combat experience. Number 1, strengthen cavalry unit skill unyielding rush in order to make cavalry units more effective in team warfare. Okay. Previously, march speed increases when approaching the target legion. After colliding with the ranged legion, the hero commanding this legion gains 1,000 rage. Legions cannot be intercepted while charging. This effect can be triggered once every 10 seconds. Now, when approaching the target legion, after colliding, the hero commanding this legion is 1,000 rage and gains valiant. For each attack received from a ranged legion, the legion deals 15% more damage, max 75% for 10 seconds. Rush triggers once every 10 seconds. While rushing a legion cannot be intercepted and takes 80% less damage, but cannot launch counterattacks. Oh, wow. So Cav is getting a pretty solid buff here, I would argue, specifically against ranged legions. Interesting. Now, I would just have been okay if they just did some flat base stat improvements, so that way the counter system is just harder, instead of kind of adding on these add-on perks and passives, if you will. But, I mean, listen. Do I still think that this is a W for Cav? Yeah, it appears that way. And I'd love to know what some of you Cav players think. Along with, do you agree with like them kind of adding in these kind of passive add-ons, or would you rather them kind of just take more of a base stat and then kind of a general, maybe increasing the percentages on the counter system? right? So if, Cav is supposed to be good against range units, which makes sense, right? Range just deals less overall damage, and then Cav gets more increased overall damage. So it's more kind of in line with just increasing overall base numbers. Let me know what you guys think on that one. Next one, number 2. Fixed Gilded Crossbow Artifact skill, Glittering Bolt. The skill will no longer erroneously attack neutral legions within range if the target legion dies. Okay, that seems like a nice fix. Number 3, changed stamina consumption for heroes and war pets. If your legion does not launch an attack, but is routed by another Lord legions, this will cost heroes and war pets 10 stamina. Oh, interesting. So if your legion does not launch an attack, but is routed by... Yo, okay. Listen, should we call this the Nephisto nerf patch update? Because this kind of feels like that's the case. And I again shouldn't just call out NAF. I'm not calling, but just saying. But this is also affecting those players who've been utilizing them. I think many players are already, for those that are privy to PvP tactics, are aware that for a number of top players will just do a tactic where they basically send their troops out, they'll put them in harm's way, but they won't actually attack anyone. And for the longest time, players would be opponents or enemies would attack those units, and the person who sent the unit out is not having their stamina drained. So they can just keep fighting and fighting and fighting forever. I cannot tell you how great of a change I really believe this is. And even though it technically is a nerf, I think it's overall a buff for PvP as a whole. And I think that this one change can have massive implications for PvP and how wars will play out, because it's going to limit how much impact some of the big players can have, which means they will be drained or forced to continue draining stamina on heroes and war pets, which means that it will reduce the overall amount of time they will be able to participate in the field. I think that this is a good W change, and I'm happy for this. I'd love to know what you guys think. Heroes can now be sorted by most commonly used instead of by star rating. Okay, cool. It'd be awesome if you could do like a custom set for how you would sort. Improved Simple Mode. You can now customize Simple Mode by selecting different options. This will allow you to adjust the display of legions and combat details. Oh, cool. Number 6, added an option for player cities to the drag legion to select target. Customization setting. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's your treasure box? That's nice. That's nice. If you uncheck the box, you will no longer be able to attack another player's city by dragging your legion to it, thus avoiding unintended losses. Okay, nice. Increased merits gained by killing enemy legions. Killing enemy legions outright will grant more merits than wounding them. Oh, wow, okay. So basically anything you're doing rally-wise, or, yeah, whether that's on the bastions, cities, and or strongholds, / passes. Okay, added artifact merits. Wow, wounded or killing enemy legions by using artifacts. Wow, this is major, because now... Right, because did someone at some point tell me that they had nerfed like total amount of merits gained? I swear I thought some people were talking about this, and I'm sure someone's going to let me know in the comments. Please do if so. But I swear I thought I saw some people that were sending screenshots a while ago and making it seem as though the overall amount of merits has been adjusted or was nerfed a bit. So this seems like if this brings us back to where that was, again, if that's true, and or increases overall merits more that you can get from using artifacts, that's pretty cool. I actually think that's nice. I mean, I'm sure people would rather just, if that was the case, have it revert and maybe have this added, but this seems like a nice thing that you can get merits now from artifacts. You will now be asked to confirm your decision if you deploy a legion with a unit type that differs from the captain of the rally or garrison you are joining, thus preventing unit type buffs from being disabled. Oh, this is great. I'm sure anyone who's a rally captain or garrison captain, you are going to be happy about this. Again, doesn't mean that it's going to eliminate, but it is kind of like a, hey, are you sure about that kind of a moment. So it sounds nice. Number 10, adjusted the auto peacekeeping feature. The feature will be rolled out to a number of new servers for continued testing. The official release will be announced at a later date. Okay. Number 7, improved alliance system. Added alliance priority lists and alliance block lists available from Season 2 onwards. Alliance leaders and scholars can add players to priority lists and block lists. Oh, man, I cannot tell you how excited alliance leads and management teams are going to be about this. Now, would this have been better to have this in Season 1, at least maybe for the block list portion? Yeah. Is this still nice that it's going to come and it's happening? And Season 2 obviously isn't incredibly far away. Absolutely. I'd love to know what some people think about this. I think this is a W. Players on the priority list may join and leave the Alliance whenever they like. Oh, that is so dope. Oh, it's like a free come and go as you please pass. Oh, dude, that is awesome. Oh my gosh, I really love that. Really, you guys know how much I enjoy the management aspects of the game and things that are just going to kind of help us work smarter, not harder, and this is absolutely one of them. This is such a W change. And are not subject to approval or power limits. Players on the block list cannot apply to join the Alliance. Fantastic. This is probably my hidden gem, like best update change for me, like my dark horse one that I really like. And even though it's not kind of game wide impactful on a management level, oh god, it just. And even for players too as well, this has to really help them, especially being able to come and go as they please. Number 2, improve the notification for relocation to warband territory. The notification now clearly states that territorial protection does not apply when relocating to a warband member's territory, putting the city at risk of attack. That is important, and I'm really happy that this and a number of other changes that they're making are clear indicators that they are listening to the community, because I cannot tell you how much people were complaining about this. This really seems like a community patch so far. Not to say everything is, but a number of things in here are very clearly the case that they are listening to the community and they are recognizing some of the pain points. Number 3, increased resource reserves for level 6 Alliance resource centers. This is great. I think this should have been done a while ago. Is it nice that this is happening? Abso-freaking-lutely. Okay, number 4. Increased total length of Alliance rows from 1,200 to 1,500. Like, dude, what are they doing? Are they just trying to become baby Jesus and just love on everyone's pain points that people have been trying to address for a very long time? Because this is really starting to more so feel like the patch for the community. Like, this is the community patch right now is what it's seeming like. Added Alliance member search feature. You can now search for Alliance members using their name or user ID. Oh my gosh, being able to use people's user ID, thank you, so much easier. I mean, again, that's great. Improved Alliance member listings. You can now tap an Alliance member's avatar on the list to see their city's coordinates and move to them. Oh, gosh. I mean, that's great. If you quit your Alliance and join a new one, you will be unable to use lair portals for a brief period of time. Okay. I mean, that kind of makes sense. Number 8. We're almost done. More enjoyable events. A new mystery box event will now be available. When the stars fell to the earth, precious supplies bound by magical seal were scattered in fragments. Retrieve them from the clutches of the darklings and piece them back together in the mystery box to break the seal and receive treasures of the forest. Adjusted difficulty to the Celestial Battlegrounds event. 5 difficulty levels will be available in all seasons. Point rewards and ranking rewards will also have been adjusted. Okay. Crucible. I wonder if this is going to be a new consistent event, though. If it is, nice. Crucible of Courage. Slightly increased the amount of hero EXP available from rally attacks on level 5 Crucible Hordes, slightly reduced hero EXP available from rally attacks on level 15 and level 20 Crucible Hordes. Okay, so essentially we're getting 1 new event, is what it looks like, and 2 event adjustments. Okay, number 9, a more accessible map. Adjusted daily auto-explore times for scouts at each level of Scout Camp Centaur posts. Level 1 to 6 is 0 to 15 minutes, 30, 60, 30, 120. Oh, so they're lowering auto explore times. Okay. I mean, I guess that seems like a nice thing. I haven't really done a lot of scouting lately, so I might have to defer to someone who is a little more privy on this than I, if this is actually a W or not. Number 2, fix an issue with beasts where potential skills upon capture could be displayed erroneously. Actual probabilities have not been changed. Okay. Fix an issue, and I like where they talk about things that they have fixed. An issue where levels of mobs on the map would not match level searched for in the mid to late season. Added customization option, default camera height when leaving city. Enable to reduce default camera height when zooming out from city view. Okay. One thing I really would have loved for them to add here is I would have loved for them to be able to allow us to zoom out a little bit more on the map where we can still see all the troops. Even if it's 1 to 2 clicks, we've talked about this before. I don't know if this is related to that. But if they added that in, dude, I just would have lost my mind with just so much joy. Number 5, improved server search function. Okay, that could be cool. And then finally, we get to other new content. You guys know this is like one of my favorite areas to look at because sometimes you just find some things in here that are just very unique. Improved goblin market. Refresh times for purchasable goods are now more clearly displayed. Number 2, reduced tactics manuals available from rally attacking Darkling shelters in Season 1, Story Chapter 3.2. Improved auto-gather mail messages. Messages will be merged together and sent to you when the auto-gather operation ends. That seems like a nice, just quality of life improvement. Added dragon ticket gifting feature. You can now gift purchased dragon tickets to Alliance members. This feature is still in testing and will be rolled out to certain players. See in-game for more details. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. This is wild. I mean, this is basically one of those things where you can take, and again, shout out to my boy Neff. This is where Neffy Poo could essentially, and other people who have, higher budgets, can spend on the game, and they can help players get to T5 faster. They can help players progress their cities faster. They can buy things that will help them train more troops faster or just train more overall troops. I mean, anything that you think you can buy a dragon ticket for or gifting dragon tickets for them to redeem, I think is how that would work, right? But it's going to allow, this can be a way to help people migrate out, right? If people are willing to do that. We've already heard stories of some players who basically have financial war chests where depending on how well you perform in a KVK, they'll actually send you money based on your performance. Like we've heard of these kinds of things from some kingdoms. And this just seems like another way. Now, am I kind of against this? I don't know. I'm somewhat 50-50. Do I think that the idea can be cool for people that want to spend money to help other players, especially if they're active and they're consistent and they participate there, to help kind of level their account or maybe help them kind of get out of situations migration-wise, i.e. migration, via permits? I don't know. I don't know. I'm 50-50 on this right now. I'd love to know what you guys think on this. Improved functionality of dragon tickets and dragon coins. If you have enough dragon tickets and dragon coins to buy all tiers of a bundle, you can now purchase them all with one tap. Oh gosh, there you go. Quality of life for the spenders. Just give everything to them. No, just not at all. Okay, that is it for us. Wow, this is a massive update. I'm gonna call this now. I do think that this is a W update. There are so many good changes in this update, more than there are questionable ones, and I am going to go out on a limb and dub this update the community update. This really feels like it. There's multiple things in here, as we've said throughout, where it really gives me this impression that they are listening. There could have been more, without a doubt, but this very much gives me this idea, this approach of like, hey, we're going to address a number of pain points in the community that they have addressed with us for either a short or a long period of time. So I'd love to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. That's going to be it for me. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.